Hi guys. Hi Edinah.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing well. How are you? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you too, and happy Thursday to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us on day 2 of Here to Help. We are, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, we are working on Here to Help, which is a special edition of Adobe Life where two designers join forces to help a business in need affected by the pandemic. So today we're working with Bryn Khan, an artist. She is a movement director and a dancer, and she has a company in New York, and she's now transitioning to LA. So one thing that she wants to do with this brand is, and her transition to the LA scene, is making it a little more commercial and a little more like approachable for someone that's not necessarily in the high art dance world. So that's what we're doing today. And yesterday, Edinah walked us through her process. She walked us through a logo design, color palette, and typography choice. So that was super fun. You guys, if you didn't see it last time, go check it out. And today we're going to be working on brand guidelines, and we're going to be showing you guys the brand guidelines that we created after the episode, and we're going to go into asset design. So we're going to be doing social media and website banner. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. And before we begin, let me get into a little bit of housekeeping items. Today, we have had a busy schedule, and right now we are in the branding and identity with Lina and Edinah from WILDLOGIC, which you will hear more about her in a second. She's spectacular. After this, we have the XD Daily Creative Challenge with Andrea Epi. At 2:30, we have the Draw Along with Kyle Webster, and we're gonna finish the day with the design of Between Voodoo Ball and Nubiard. So stay here after. It's gonna be a day full of fun. And what else do we have? Oh, yes, don't forget to take the Daily Creative Challenge if that's something that you like doing. If you guys have never taken it, I'm going to show you really quick how to access it. You just have to go to behance.net/challenge/Illustrator, and then go to this tab right here, which is going to pull up your Discord channel. And when you go to Creative Challenge, you're going to see the challenge of the day. Today's challenge was to create a monogram, so we can wait to see that later on. Edinah and I will be providing some feedback at 1:30, so stay tuned here, and if you haven't submitted it yet, hurry up and go do that. So, one more announcement. I'm sorry guys, I'm like haven't even seen the chat and I'm already like giving you so many announcements. But if you guys haven't heard, the community team, which is the same team as Adobe Live, and they're all great people, by the way, just have to say that, but they put together a community fund, and it's a really big number community fund. It's $1 million community fund to encourage creatives and help creatives during these tough times. So if you guys have a project that you want to submit to them, don't hesitate and do it. If you guys could share the link in there, because it's a really long link, but you guys can have more details in there, and it basically walks you through the process. You guys can submit an application and you will get a grant to work on a project that you like for 2 to 4 weeks. Isn't that awesome? So go submit it and go get some money. Okay, that's it for the announcements, I promise. Now, Edinah.
Hello.
Hi, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Are you still there?
I'm here.
How are you?
I am doing good. I'm really excited to see and show the brand style guide, to show what you really have put together following the amazing episode of yesterday.
Well, you were the mind behind this. I just did the work. the non so fun work. But hi guys in the chat. I'm so happy to see some familiar faces from yesterday. Hi Eddie, hi Curtis. Hi Cody. It's so good to see you guys. Tell us where you're tuning in from and how you guys are doing today. I personally am super tired.
Are you tired?
I'm tired. I'm like I think I'm tired, but with too much coffee. So so bear with me if I say anything that doesn't make sense.
Tired but full of coffee.
Exactly. Isn't that a weird combination?
That is a strange combination. It's like an oxymoron. Like
yes.
2 levels, 2 sides.
It is. Yes. And it's not a very healthy oxymoron either. But guys, free money. Yes, Eddie, go get your free monies. So we're gonna start this episode by showing you guys, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, Edinah created some logo options and a color palette and typography for Bryn. So what we did yesterday after the episode is that Bryn decided on the logo that she liked the best. And then we put together some quick brand guidelines just so we had this to refer from. And I'm just gonna walk you guys through this really quick. I'm sure you guys are familiar with brand guidelines, but I also wanna be mindful because maybe you're just starting in the design process and it's something that you guys haven't really familiarized yourself with before. So I just wanna walk you guys through our process. These are just work in progress brand guidelines. We still need to refine this brand, and this is also going to refine the guidelines a little bit, but I want to show you guys these that we have in here. So this is the logo that she ended up choosing. She chose let me see. Oh, okay. So I usually start my brand guidelines by just having a little introduction of how a brand guideline works and how it's going to support your business. And then we have the brand mood. So we just took the spectacular mood board that Edinah had designed and added also the keywords that are important for this brand, so that the client can also always refer to those when thinking of like which photos to post or like the communication that they're writing. The logo design that she chose, it's here, and we provide some other colors that the logo can be used on. I always provide some guidance with the logo in terms of like the minimum size and the free space that the logo needs to have around. And then some logo don'ts. And you guys, this is so important because clients will destroy your logo. that is how it is. So if you are able to provide this guidance so you know that the logo integrity will be kept, is really good to do that. So things like, don't stretch the logo, don't rotate the logo, don't change the logo colors, don't change anything from the logo, basically. Don't put things too close to the logo, like respect the, so just like things like that. Don't add drop shadows to the logo. So all those things I like to provide just to make sure the logo stays safe. And then we go on to color palette. This was what Edinah came up yesterday. We just added an extra color after some feedback from the client. So we just provided all of the colors with all of the hex values, RGB, CMYK values. And then we went into typography, which we also tweaked a little bit after the client's feedback. And then for photography, we for this case, we just have a reference of photography. This is not the actual client's photography. We put in a reference so that we see what kind of colors and editing styles go with the photography. So that's it. I usually finish with like a design and use example, but we're gonna put that later because today we're gonna do the design and use. So whatever we do today, we'll add to the guidelines. Sorry, I can't do two things at a time. So I'm just seeing where all of you guys are from, and we've got...
Yeah, I was looking at this too.
Florida, Virginia, Brazil, Philadelphia. Nice. Well, thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you. That's amazing. I'm still like in awe over that, how like connected we are, even though we're so far apart.
Isn't it wonderful? I feel it's like that's the only upside to, well, not the only, because there's other like global warming reduction, but that's one of the upsides of this pandemic for sure. I think it's amazing that we can do this. Like if things were regular, we would never be able to do this because we'll have both to be in San Francisco, but we can do this. We've got people from Dominican Republic too, Dominicanos. Eddie, I know you're saying that you've seen some really lengthy brand guidelines. Oh my God, I don't know if like any of you guys have worked in like an agency or worked with a like big client. It's like literally a Bible. They come to you and they're like, here are brand guidelines. Blah. It says, yes. Yeah, we're not doing that for this client, Eddie. Thank God.
It's like a brand Bible, a brand ecosystem. But it's so necessary too, because without having one, it's not even like necessarily for the client. It's about who is going to be working with the client after the fact. And so if, Bryn works with a videographer in the future, or works with anyone really, anyone, having that as a reference point to know how best to use the brand, it's good so that everyone's all on the same page.
Yes. I always I'm the biggest advocate of brand guidelines. I don't know about you, Edinah, but I don't do any logo design if it doesn't come with brand guidelines. Like I don't have an option in my packages where it's only logo. Like if you want a logo from me, you have to have the brand guidelines, because otherwise I feel like it's not complete, and then the client will have a logo but won't really know how to use it, or and then it just becomes derailed and they change it, and so the brand kind of dies aesthetically sometimes. So yeah, I really like doing that. Thank you, Nancy. You're so nice. She's saying that she feels that both of our styles really work well together and we're doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
So today, Edinah, is there anything, actually, why don't you tell us a little bit, like we have some new people in the chat that weren't here yesterday. Tell us a little bit about yourself or point them to your website, your social media, which is spectacular, and let's have them see your work too.
Yeah, sure. I will. I can share my screen with you and give you a mini behind the scenes.
Yes.
Okay, so I like to call myself a multidisciplinary artist, a visual artist, an artist, an all-encompassing artist. It's only been recently I've been able to embrace that terminology more, but I'm not I wouldn't call myself a graphic artist or like a graphic designer per se, just because I'm so rooted in the idea of the journey to building something from nothing. And so it's really important to me that I hold that value for me. And so having a fashion background, my way into the visual communication industry, it was various fields of visual communication, should I say. It was kind of serendipitous. It was just something that happened through an organic connection with at the time, stylist, fashion stylist, and I ended up building her brand over a few years. And I didn't know what branding was per se. I didn't really know what these terminologies were, but I enjoyed it so much coming out of the fashion industry that I ended up furthering my education and just diving deep via the Adobe programs and then developing a digital space. And so I operate underneath the name WILDLOGIC because that is literally the term that we kind of coined when we would work together. It was not really the most traditional or the most, I don't know, like the way that I come about things. She's like, oh, you have such wild logic. Like I don't understand how you got here. So that's what that name is. That's why WILDLOGIC it is. And so even for a very long time, I didn't even put my name on it. I've only kind of had that name against WILDLOGIC for probably about a year and a half. So yeah, this is behind the scenes. This is my more so like catered projects, things that they're a mixture of things, from illustration to brand identity to website exploration, to self-initiated projects and non-for-profit projects too. I would say that my Instagram is honestly more so a better representation of my work, my creations, just because here it's a lot easier for me to just explore ideas and just have fun with it and not really have any meaning. Like it's just, unless it's like connected to the words, for me it's a lot it's quicker for me to put my ideas and thoughts and real happenings via Instagram. Yeah, that's me.
I love your Instagram, and you know that because I DM'd you once.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I love you. I love all your work. It's so nice. You guys should go and follow her at WILDLOGIC. She's got some cool designs in there.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's a little bit of mine.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so I think...
Should we get to work, you guys?
Yeah,
or should we just, can we just talk?
Can I just
talk about life and
talk about life
and be like philosophical about today.
But speaking of social media, that is actually what I'm going to be doing today, is creating social media templates for Bryn, Con, and plus artists. So yeah, you'd be surprised. I don't know. I'm curious, actually. I ventured between the two, but I actually have come to start creating my templates on um, Illustrator. I don't
Oh,
know.
I
Yeah.
me too. I use Illustrator
Yeah.
for everything.
Oh,
I'm like,
good. Yay.
everything. Like if you can do it in Illustrator, I'm figuring out
Yeah.
a way of editing photos in Illustrator. Like
Then it would just
I
be all in
I
one,
love
right?
it. Like for me, it's like my safe space. And yeah, I can. So totally, Illustrator it is.
Yeah, and so I basically think the reason why, so I actually used to create them in Photoshop, but I've come to realize that the PPI, the pixels per inch, they kind of are better, especially when you're working with vectors, to create them in Illustrator, because when you export them, regardless, you just have to export them, I find, in like 300 PPI when you export social media templates. But I've come to find that the quality remains really well versus like when I'm in Photoshop. It tends like when you have to copy and paste like the vectors, and it's like the legibility, once you've scaled it down and then you try to scale it back up, like a logo, for example, there's blur added. So I like to keep everything here just for ease, and yeah, it's just a lot easier and it never lags on me too.
Yes, no, I agree, and this is because it and a lot of designers ask me this. They're like, what should I, like new designers tell me like, oh, should I design a logo in Photoshop or a logo in Illustrator? Always, every time, just think of it like anytime you want to scale something and you want something to live perpetually, do it in Illustrator, because the vector, it's going to allow you to do anything to it, where whether if you design something in Photoshop, it's going to be pixel based, and that's not going to give you the capability of changing things or scaling up. If you designed it at 1,000 by 1,000, that's it. You're not going to blow that in a building, because a pixel won't allow you to do that, but a vector will. So always, guys, always design in Illustrator your logos.
Yeah, at least, to start. And then if you need it in, say, Photoshop, that like, but there's so many things that you can do in Illustrator that can allow you to do things that you don't necessarily always have to do in Photoshop. Like if you want to add space around a logo, you could, like, slight design 101, but you could have this in the middle, and then just adjust the sizing of the artboard to the space that you need around it. And then when it comes to exporting, when you select a PNG, then you have that space around it for if you want to put it on a website, for example, or like multiple logos, like so many things.
Yes, Illustrator
Yes.
forever.
Templates.
Hi guys. Oh, sorry. So just hi Sophie, and for all of you guys that are tuning in, Edinah is about to get into social media template design.
Yeah, I like got it loaded this time, so I know what you're referencing to now, because I was like, I don't know where the chat is. Hi. Yeah, so today we basically connected with Bryn just to find out what templates she would like. Essentially, I like to create them in a series of 4 because I think templates should be able to be reiterated throughout the branding, no matter what you do. And I think 4 is a good amount to cohesively share a brand, regardless of like what it's going to be. And so we connected with Brent just to find out which templates we're going to do. So the 4 that we're going to work on today, I'm going to, I just literally needed the text. The 4 that we are going to work on today is an artist highlight, almost like a dancer highlight, like highlighting a dancer or artist. Kind of like a showcase, I feel. then the next one is going to be an inspired, like a quote highlight, which could also offer as a testimonial in this instance. And then we will do an event highlight, like a event. Is highlight the right word? Oh.
Yeah, event. Yeah.
Event. Highlight.
Event highlight. Sounds good.
And then a
event announcement, maybe.
Oh, that's the word.
There.
Gosh, that is okay. And then we're going to do like a social justice, something like highlighting, I guess, news announcement in a way, or like social justice. I'll call it social justice. Yeah.
And while Edinah works, guys, tell us in the chat if you have like any specific questions related to template creation or social media design, anything. We'll see if we can answer those for you.
What have I done? Oh, nothing. I always like to make sure as well, literally every single thing I do, layers are your best friend, because if you don't like separate what you're doing, things can get really confusing really quickly. And say you want to change, you have a design that's all together, but you realize you want this S to move down ever so slightly. By keeping it on a separate layer means that you can just lock the layers, and doesn't mean that you're disrupting your other designs. And that way, I always like to make sure like I'm keeping it separately between like the background, the design, and the text. And that way, I'm never really messing up the process, because there's too many times where like everything is on the same layer, and I'm like, this is just, I'm messing everything up, and I end up having to like delete and start again. Yeah.
Yes, I agree, especially when dealing with templates that you're going to be providing a client. I think it's super important to be able to lock those layers that you absolutely don't need them to touch, so that they also don't screw up things without knowing, because they might not be 100% familiar with software. So if you make their work easier by locking layers and like labeling layers of where they can change things, like this, change this text, or change here the date, or things like that. That's what I like to do for my clients, so that it's easier for them to do the changes later on.
I agree. So the templates I'm considering a few things based on the mood board as well that we developed. I'm also considering that Bryn's industry, the industry that she operates within, and also the fact that a lot of the posts that she's going to be doing are photography based. They are highlighting the work that she does and provides for others. And that way, we're never too far away from her brand. So we want to make sure that her brand is always aligned no matter the asset. And so one thing I'm going to consider throughout is that there's clear space, that there's white space, and that there's the specific type used in everything that we selected yesterday. So that way, when we are developing the templates, it doesn't look random. So that's why I've got all of these things here off to the side. Yeah. I'm going to start with the quote to keep it like easy. Oh. I really love the addition of this. Now you can get lorem ipsum, and it's, I don't know if
So
you've seen it, but
helpful.
if you drag and drop, if you have the type tool and you just drag a box, like a type box, it will auto lorem ipsum. I just really love that.
Yeah, it makes your work faster for sure. That you don't have to look for it or put it it's just there for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Oh my, okay.
Oh God.
Oops. I always like to start with the easiest one to get my ideas going.
So you're starting with the
quote.
Oh, okay, the quote.
Yeah, quote / testimonial. Just using the type that we had selected, and considering the white space as well.
Would you say that social media graphics is one of your favorite things to design, Edinah?
I think so, yeah. It's like playing with words. To be honest, it's playing with words, because I don't know, so much can happen. You can create a whole world around a word, and I just think that's really fun.
I know, I can see it looking at your social media, because everything is so detail oriented, and you can see that you have fun making those posts.
Yeah. To say the least, yeah. I really do enjoy it.
And yes, Cody, thank you so much for reminding us. We are going to be going over your daily creative challenges. So if you guys haven't submitted yet, go and submit it. Go have fun, submit it, put it in, and we'll destroy your design. No, I'm kidding. we'll give you feedback. I'm kidding. The chat is too quiet today, so you guys, trying to make you laugh or something. Talk to us.
Yeah.
Tell us what your
social media templates. I was just does anyone like creating social media templates?
Yes, tell us if you guys like to create them, or any experience that you've had with them, what kind of templates you've done, or just talk to us. Or anything. If you guys haven't seen Edinah's Instagram, you guys should check it out. And if you have any questions about how she creates her posts or anything, ask us.
Yeah.
Well, ask her.
Ask us. What do you think?
Cool.
What do you think? What does everyone think? I don't know. So far, that's one option.
I liked that. I also liked when you had the one,
just one,
the only one. Yeah, I think that the one in the corner that looked really nice too.
I think so too. Kind of like this.
I like that. I don't know, what does everyone in the chat think? This way, flush right with one, how do you call that? One comilla, or centered with two.
Quotation mark?
Quotation mark, thank you. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, Alexandra. She's saying that the past streams have inspired her to create social media templates for the first time. I'm so happy to hear that, and would love to see them. Like, if you want to share them with me on via Instagram, I'll be so happy to see those.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Option A, says Simon.
Option A. That like the first one? This one?
Bryn says, I like that. She says, not flush, but with a little space, just like this. So, like she has on right now?
Yeah. I think so.
We have a little delay with the chat, so we're like, oops.
Yeah, a change could happen super quick. I'm just thinking, like,
First one, yes. Okay, so this one, I think. And thank you, Alexandra. I look forward to seeing those. Yes, I like it. I like it like this.
Yeah, it's cleaner, right?
Yes, I like it. I really like just like having one.
Just there, yeah.
Mark, which I know it's not correct, but
I like it though.
We're breaking rules.
It's fun. We're breaking rules. Yeah, it's fun. It's playful, and it creates like an elevated. It's unique too. And then with the contrasting text here, with whomever the quote is by, in the black as well. It's not too dominating, but you're still giving reference to who it was. So,
love it. Love it.
And then I selected two photos from, or three actually, that we could kind of play with. And these are Bryn's photography, like stills. And so we're going to try and work these in as well, just as placeholders, but just to give visual reference to, you know, like an event announcement or a dancer artist highlight. So let's do the highlights.
Let's do it. And Bryn says she loves that, so yes.
Oh, cool. Yay. I don't know, I like the idea of a square. What I'm really inspired by is what you did in the brand guidelines, but I want to kind of it's this part. Like, I really like this.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's really fun. So I want to kind of create something like that, but that's more like accessible and legible, because if you were doing an artist highlight, you kind of would lose the person who did that.
Yes.
But I still think that's really cool. Oh, I missed artist again.
And Edinah, while you do that, Gusson is asking that it's wondering what inspires you to create designs in general? What's your biggest source of inspiration?
Honestly, it's quotes.
Huh. Interesting.
Quotes. Very, very serious. I really, really love Yogi tea. And the thing I love about Yogi tea is that they have quotes on them. And it just makes the biggest difference. I don't know why, but because that's how I started WILDLOGIC. It was kind of like a journal for me. It was a visual journal. And so I used to find creativity in words. And then my designs, anything that I would create and share and on Instagram was a visual response to those words.
That's so interesting. I love that
Yeah.
answer. So original.
Yeah. Legit.
Cool. And Julio just joined us. Hello. He's from Madagascar. Thank you for joining us, Julio. We're here creating some social media templates with Edinah from WILDLOGIC. Welcome.
That's so cool.
And Eddie is sharing some quotes with us. Do or do not. There is no try. You guys, share your favorite quotes.
Exactly, yes.
In there, please, because Edinah needs some inspiration for later.
Always.
So
I literally have a note section on my phone, just full of quotes.
I love it. I'm gonna send all the quotes that I see that I like your way.
Yeah, just literally anything that you could imagine, like, yeah.
Jair or Jair Uriel, it's saying that that's really nice work.
Oh, thank you.
And Gussin says that he loves yogi tea too. Me too. Yes. What's your favorite one? Edinah, what's your favorite flavor? And everyone.
I really like, it's two. There's this one called Sweet Tangerine. That's probably like my favorite one. Sweet Tangerine or green tea kombucha.
Ooh, I haven't tried the green tea kombucha.
Yeah.
I like them.
I also like the other ones. I don't even know what flavors I have here, but there's just some random ones. Like there's blackberry with apple cider vinegar, and you'd never think that would work, but it really does work. Yeah.
I've never seen that one either. I always get the lavender with honey.
Oh, yeah.
I just got
that one.
I love it.
I really like that. And then the thing I really like about yogi too is like on the boxes they have like yoga poses that match to the tea. Yeah, so it's like Sweet Tangerine is about positive energy, for example. They'll be like, this yoga pose can help you exude positive energy. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah. And this episode, it's not sponsored in any way by yogi tea, just for you guys to know.
No, it's not. Oh,
I'm kidding.
Disclaimer.
Here's another quote for you from Caroline. She says, I would rather die of passion than boredom. I agree.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And Chris is asking a very important question. When you complete the social media templates, what file format do you give the client?
That is project dependent. Because some clients don't honestly know how to use Illustrator. And so for them, it's learning a whole new program, which you don't need to do if you don't want to. So it depends on what you want to do, really. I know there's Adobe Spark, which is a kind of like a social media, but it's also like where you can make digital graphics without having the full-on knowledge and depth and understanding of Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. You can just create a template within, depending on what you need, from a Facebook banner to a social media post to a newsletter layout. It's like the ideas are like they're completely endless, but in the same notion, same. There's some really great platforms out there, and so it just depends. Like as of lately, like people I've worked with, they are familiar with Illustrator, so I've been able to just give them a native Illustrator file and just kind of give them like a 101, like a 30-minute video call where we'll go over the different layers, just how to duplicate, how to export, and how to upload too. And then sometimes clients use Canva, and so it's just more about replicating the design in their chosen platform. There's also a new one which I had directed a client and a friend, Lex, which I think she's in the chat, Alex, Lex Hales, to Projector, because it's also another great it's a new platform, but it's also a platform if you don't have the skill, like, you know, the time as well, and to dive in deep to learn Illustrator. Yeah, that's my process. What's your process?
My process, well, it's similar. Usually if they use Illustrator, I will just submit an Illustrator file. And what I do with the Illustrator file, I submit an Illustrator file along with a library, so that they already have like so instead of having these to the side, like, because I designed the same way that you're doing it right now, Edinah, where I just like put everything to the side and then start like grabbing from there. But great. So what I do for clients, I used to do for clients, like put everything to the side and then like just block that into a layer and be like designers notes, and then they could like unlock that layer and do what you're doing right now. But lately, after I discovered I discovered it in the last Here2Help episode when we were preparing for it with Julia. You can do clients, you can do libraries in Illustrator that you can share between people. So, and I shared one with you the other day, yesterday, where you, like, I'm in my house, I create everything, I put it into the library, and then I just share that with another user that can see everything that's in there. So I like creating that for clients that's too, really cool. So that they have that library to work with if they need it. And so that's usually how I do it. If a client needs, because obviously, like, I'm also aware of the fact that some clients are not well versed on Illustrator, so sometimes they will request their assets to be in like Keynote or something that it's not used to do that, but that they already know. So sometimes I like, full disclosure, I charge an extra fee for doing that because I don't design in those softwares, so it does take extra time for me to do that. So that's like one option that I give them, but it does cost more. So it's like the same when they ask me to design the logo in Word. No, you know, do you have this word
to do this? It's like, huh?
I would never do that.
Something I've actually just remembered as you said that is I've actually started creating templates in Adobe XD. Because XD is free. Adobe XD is free. Like, everyone, I believe you don't need, I don't know if you need it. I think you need a Behance account, but like an Adobe account, but it's not a paid tool like Photoshop and Illustrator, and it's very similar features to Photoshop. It has the same keyboard shortcut, pretty much the same keyboard shortcuts, and you can add libraries and share once you've finished a link. And so I've been playing around with Adobe XD because it's very, like, you can also export very quick, it doesn't lag, and it handles images like very well, like high resolution images. That's another one I just realized. Yes. But I just literally, like, last week started playing with it.
Yes, and like you said, that's a great alternative, because if the client doesn't have the full Adobe Creative Suite, they can still use it. So it's that's a very good alternative. And yes, like Eddie says, it has the drag and drop on like Illustrator or Photoshop. It's completely compatible. Like, I actually sometimes I design websites on Illustrator and then I just drag it into XD and there it is. And I just like, I don't have to prepare the file in there. So,
I just design in XD. I never thought of Illustrator then XD. Just saying.
Yeah, no, of course. I like, that's how I should be doing it too. But sometimes I'm just like starting it, because Illustrator is like my place, like where I know like absolutely everything. Well, absolutely everything, says the girl that couldn't find the solution yesterday. But I know, like, my way around it 100%. So sometimes it's faster for me to just do it in Illustrator and then drag it into XD.
That makes sense.
I love how this is looking. And Bryn says, I like where this is going, Edinah. This is great.
Oh, yay. I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate
the logo in there.
Yeah.
I like that when it's like just the corners are touching, but it could also be like a stamp kind of, or simple in there too.
I'm like just thinking whether the caption would say more, because I feel like the caption could say more about who they are. Like this could be their name. But then at the same time, like if it's at the top like this, it could be like artist occupation here.
I kind of like it at the top just because I think that's going to be easier for her to play down the line in case like the photo, because maybe right now we're thinking of like maybe in the middle it will work with this photo, but the photo that she's working with next might not work. So I think that at the top it gives her like more space to play with any type of photo.
Yeah, that's so true.
Eddie's asking, would you reverse out the logo to white?
Yeah. It just, the only reason I didn't, I was creating like a color story, like this color is this background color. I mean, this can be swapped out, but I just mean for now, it's like, okay, well, this is that.
I like that color. Actually. I like that color.
This color will probably be text on the social justice, like the color of text. That's kind of like how I was thinking.
I like that.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much.
Cool. Yeah, I think that looks great.
I mean, it could, again, it depends on the photo, but it could overlap, but it could get distorted really easily.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one thing to consider when building templates for the client, because and this has happened to me before where I design a template that it's really cool looking, but with that photo that I'm using, and then you change it to another photo, and maybe there's no contrast with the text and the photo if they're overlaying. So that's definitely very, very important to consider.
I'm also considering what they would. Oh
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say about like what they want to say on the post too, because I'm also thinking like clean, clear, white space, but also like fun space too.
Yes.
You were going to say something?
No, I was just going to read Nancy's question.
Oh,
She's asking, how many social media templates do you usually provide for your clients?
Ooh, like per package type of thing. I like to just do 4 regular social feed, and then potentially swap it to a story size as well.
Cool.
What about you?
I do 9 because I like to also like give them because 9, it's like I actually do between 9 and 12 because that's like how much it takes to fill out an entire screen of an iPhone on like posts. So that also helps me to envision how it's all gonna look together in a grid, and like to like fill in the entire grid for that one page. So it helps me. So yeah, I usually do 9, like between 9 and 12.
That makes sense. Yeah, I hadn't considered that.
Yeah, and Eddie is asking us, what social media outlets do you decide to template for, and how do you decide with so many out there? I
What do you mean by
personally,
social media? Oh, as in like from Instagram to Facebook to Twitter, that kind of?
Yes. I personally design for Instagram first, always, because that is the one that has like more, unless the client has other like maybe it's a client that it's very heavy on Pinterest and they need a Pinterest template, but what I have found is that the most familiar thing people need, it's Instagram stories, Instagram feed and Instagram stories. So square and 1080 by 1920, and then the square ones can be used in Facebook posts too, or other places. So usually that works unless the client has other requirements. So that's completely like client dependent, but I think those are the two that are most important, at least for my clients.
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same. I like to just be mindful of what it is first. I like first and foremost will ask, what do you need them for? Where do you want them? Because sometimes people, like clients, will want templates, but they actually mean like, we want a banner for a newsletter that we can just update. So just kind of like understanding what they may need is how I kind of decide what templates to build. And like where to build them, especially because images can actually be used on various sizes. Like as in like Instagram can transfer to Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's like the best thing to do, but that's just my opinion. Alexandra's asking if should all social media templates include the client logo somewhere for brand recognition, and I would say no. I would say that I think that you can achieve brand recognition through your colors and fonts, and I've seen this happen a lot where clients are like, oh, just put the logo in there, put it. But sometimes, and then when you see that as an overall feed, it ends up looking like too adsy because it's like logo here, logo here, logo here, logo here, logo here. So if there's a way to incorporate your logo in like a really cool manner, like Edinah does, you incorporate a lot of your logo into your posts and it looks amazing because it doesn't look like salesy and here's my logo. But for a regular client, I would say that sometimes, I mean, it's hard because you also have to consider how does their logo look like. Do they want their full version of the logo, like full color in there, or can you like get away with like a white mark of the logo that it's tiny and cute? So it really, I would say it's not 100% necessary. It's important to have branding through all other ways and not just go to the logo for it. But what do you think, Edinah? What are your feelings about putting the logo on all of the posts?
I completely agree that there's so many different elements to the brand that the logo doesn't mean equal the brand. It's just one essence of it, that it's not necessarily about always showcasing the logo. Sometimes, just showcasing the colors in a consistent way and being cohesive is a better way than showing a logo on repeat.
I agree. Yeah. And also sometimes maybe there are some elements that are more important than the logo. For example, your handle, that might be better to incorporate in all of them, so that if people are resharing that, they know who to refer to, and that's actually probably going to drive more traffic into you than having a logo, because people can look for your handle. So that's really, but again, that's like what I think. Some clients are 100% like set into wanting their logo in there.
Yeah, And sometimes it works though. Sometimes
Mhm.
it does work to have it. It just depends, really.
I agree that it really depends.
I think I'm gonna have to take a search to look for. I mean, it does kind of work, but I want to find a different way to show the event announcement. Um, but it'd be cool to see how you make the banners and stuff. It'd be cool to see how you
Okay,
play.
let's
I
do
really want to
that.
learn how to do. I really want to know how to do the photo map.
Okay, the gradient map.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's it. Yeah.
So guys, we are going to take a little break from social media templates. We will be back to this. But what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna jump into a little bit of photo manipulation and like banner creation. I don't know if you guys, let me show you this really quick. Let me get it. So I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, and I'm gonna show you. Perfect. So here is Bryn's current website, and like you can see, she has like a big banner, a big photo in like right at the beginning of the website. So one thing that I want to do, and it's try to make this first entry a little more related to the brand, and also like so that it complies with what we're trying to achieve with the entire branding. Because right now she's using just photos of like a concert setting and like indoors with the, and this gives you 100% like a dance world look, like theater company or like dance company looks. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take some photos that she has provided, and we're gonna see how we can make these fit more of the style of what we are doing right now. So that is what we're gonna be doing for the next 30 minutes or less until we reach the challenge. So let me open up Photoshop right here. I have selected some of the photos that she has provided that I really liked. And one thing that I've noticed, so Bryn actually has a documentary coming out really soon. It's called Landing. You guys should follow her Instagram so you guys can stay tuned to that, and also to see our templates in play later on. But she has a documentary coming out. So she has this really gorgeous images of the documentary. But what's the problem is that they're screenshots from a movie. So they're not the crispiest images. So it might work for some of them, or like the look of it, but I feel that sometimes when you do that, you might not get like the full strength from the image. So, and either when it's like these, or maybe you're dealing with a client that doesn't have a photo shoot, or like that hasn't done a previous photo shoot, and they just give you a lot of images, and some might be great, some might be okay, some might be not so good, but you have to find a way to like put them all together and make them live all together into the brand. So that's when like photo editing and photo manipulation, and how do you edit your photos so that they all look like they belong together. So that's what I'm gonna attempt to do today for this brand. And one thing that I love to do, and how I like, this is like my go-to solution sometimes, it's creating gradient maps, especially for, I think it really goes with this project, as if you see the references that we had for photo, obviously like these photos were, some of them were taken with like special lighting, like these two. This one as well was like accomplished through using a what is it, a projector. So when you're dealing with someone that's not going into a new photo shoot, but you have to make their images look cool, what do you do? So let me go to this. So I have the colors in here. Okay. And what I am going to do is try to accomplish that feel with the photos that we have. So I like using the gradient map tool in Photoshop, and you just go to this little thing and look for gradient map right here. And then you double click on the gradient, and then you input the colors that you wanna try. So actually, I already have a blue there. I don't know if it's the same blue. No, it's not the same blue, but and I'm gonna first try the colors of the branding, because we're dealing with photo manipulation, and like it's not gonna be the exact color because you're like taking all the values from the photo too and superposing it. So in a case like this, it's okay if you manipulate the color for it to look the best that it can. You don't have to stick to the color in the guidelines. At least like that's what I find, because sometimes when you try to just do the color in the guideline, it might not work like you envision. So so here, let's say and you can adjust your, and just click and drag your things to see how. And right now you can see that the colors that I have are working as a negativo, like a negative. So if I change those, and this might be just because of these particular colors, I think these two colors are both very bright, and so there's not like hierarchy in them. So let me change, I'm going to change this one to black to show you better. So yeah, so right here, when you see it, you can see like if I had it the other way around, it would look like a negative. And I mean, maybe the particular project that you're working on, that's what you are trying to accomplish. In this case, this is definitely not what I want to accomplish. So I'm going to change those two. And then I like that color combination, and I think it like goes well with what she had in her references, but it's definitely lacking like it's a little too toned down. I can't barely see her face. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, I'm gonna start by changing this color, and I'm gonna look for something that looks more what like we were looking at before. So this is way more saturated, and I'm gonna keep it with the black for now, so that I'm like trying to achieve that exact look that she had in here. So I like the colors, but I'm lacking crispiness in the image. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to my layer, to my photo layer, and I'm just gonna mess with the levels of the photo itself. So I'm gonna go to adjustments, levels, and then I'll play here with like brightening up and making it more contrasty. So now you can see that the photo looks like way clearer. I can see her face more, and Okay, so what I'm gonna start doing, I'm gonna be dragging this into Illustrator, of course, because we have a love affair. So I'm gonna go.
Too funny.
I'm gonna I'm gonna create a 1920 by 1080, and let's do 3. I'm gonna make sure that they're far apart. Okay, so I have these.
Curious, do you select that sizing on purpose? 1920.
Yes, so this one I selected it just because it's like the typical screen size, and when you see in her in here, she's using full screen. So I'm going to just make sure that it's like a full screen graphic.
Yeah.
So
this is so cool, by the way.
Thank you. I love using gradient maps. Do you guys use gradient maps in the chat? Let us know. I did something. We do levels. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna drag this, but you have to make sure that you drag both. So you're gonna select the photo gradient and then the layer gradient map gradient, and then you're gonna drag these, and I have the photo in there. And what I love about this is that it's creating the gradient map in another layer. So if I wanted to, like, first of all, let's say I have 1,000 photos that I need to have the same editing style, I can just literally drag this layer, go into the second photo. Whenever it opens, let's see, I'm just gonna drag it here. Okay, so I go into my second photo and I just drag it, and there it is on the photo. So
it is so cool.
It's super efficient and super fast. So let's say for this one, let's say we want to change things up. So let's start by changing the color and trying some new colors from here. Let's see if the red with black would work. So I double click on here and I just go and edit that one color that I had. So let's see how, and it's a process of trial and error too. Like some colors might not look very good on a gradient map together, like these. But then if you change it, it might work a little, like the reversed version might work a little better. So let's say I use these. This I like better. And let's see. Let's do a little modification to here. Image adjustments. I go again to my levels and just like try to find what would give more contrast and look better. And sometimes you might see it and you might be like, oh, I like the original better, but I don't. I like this one better. So yeah, that's one thing that I really like doing, for especially, like, I mean, in this case, Bryn's photos were amazing already. Like they're super cool, but I think it's a good solution to provide to her because this is like, she's only gonna have a limited number of photos and stills from there. And usually with smaller clients, you don't want to like assume that they can do a photo shoot every time. So if you can find a solution for them that brings all their photos into the same branding, I think it's very, very helpful. Let's see. So Which one do you guys like best? Or which one do you like, Edinah? The blue or the pink?
Well, even before you did it, I was curious to see what it would look like with a lighter color, like the peach tone. So you literally did it, and I was like, oh yeah, that one's my favorite. That's it.
Perfect. So let's use this one. And let me see how this other one would look with the peach too. Since we have it and it's so easy, we'll just have to drag it. Let's see. And again, like sometimes you will find that maybe with one photo, a gradient map works really well. And then you go on to the to another photo, and because of the contrast of that particular photo or how it's lit, it might not work. So it's again like a trial and error. But let's see how to, like, this one works really good without even having to mess with the levels. So I'm going to open here. I'm sorry, I'm going all okay. So let me get this full screen, and let's see what Bryn has to say. Bryn, do you like it? She said, that is stunning. Do you like the red or the blue one, or both? Let's see. Okay, so I also want to incorporate some type into this so that it's more interesting. So let's, I'm going to do your same trick, Edinah. Let's see. Yay! And Bryn is obsessed. Yes! I'm so happy to hear that. Chris likes the red. Okay, so can we try one more color? Let's try one more color for fun. Why don't we try this pink that we have?
Oh yeah, try the pink out.
Tried. Let's see. We're here, and then go to the gradient map. Let's try. Ooh, that's the blue actually, but I like the blue with the.
Well, that's really nice.
Yeah, I really like. Actually,
it's very dynamic. It's very bold, but it's fun.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, I'm just gonna put all of them in there, and then try the same one with the pink. Oops, that's what this is. Here. Okay, so I'm gonna use the other. So as you guys can see, there's no contrast whatsoever with that. So I'm
Maybe
going
like a pink and red.
Oh yeah, let's try the red.
Or the pink and the darker peach.
Yeah, I think that the lighter peach might, because I think this is a darker. Yeah, so this might work. Let's see.
Yeah.
And then if not, we'll try the red and see how that looks. Let's see. Let's see. Let's change to red because I'm not digging that. So, and then again, this is giving us that. Oops. Okay. So, what do you, is this too much? I think this is too much, no? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the use, right? It could be really fun, but it depends on like how you want to use that. And then it kind of reminds me of the image in the brand guidelines.
Let's put it in and we'll keep it in there just in case. Monica is asking, what if you don't have such great photos to work with? I agree, Monica, these ones are amazing. But I think this is a treatment that can really help you if you don't have like amazing photos to work with, because you're also like giving it a different look. So even if I actually started implementing gradient maps because I was working at a television station, and one of the shows that they were doing, they were like giving us a lot of assets to work with from different artists. So like all of the artists that came, they would like give their assets, but they were all so inconsistent. Like sometimes you would have an artist that had a great headshot, sometimes you had one that had something that was practically unusable. So I started implementing gradient maps so that it will like get all of the photos together and makes, I don't know if that makes sense, but I say that it helps. So Bryn says this one is too much. I'm gonna take it out. Okay, so we have 7 more minutes until the daily creative challenge. So if you guys haven't yet submitted your entries, go and do it, and then we'll be reviewing them really soon. And after we're done with that, we're gonna go back to Edinah to see what she's gonna continue doing for the social media templates. So I'm gonna bring, let's see, let's see. So I'm just gonna like extend the tracking on these a bunch. A little bit more. I'm forgetting about the artists. There. Don't get mad, guys. Okay, so I'm going to just put this in here.
This looks really fun.
And maybe like the red might be a little too much, but let's change it to other colors. Let me just pull. Oh, okay. It's not going back to the other document, but does that happen to you?
Yeah, it does. I don't know why it does that. I just have to like close it down, but
yeah,
or keep working in the document and then restart it to do that.
Yeah, it happens to me a lot too. But thankfully I have my my libraries right here, so I can just access the colors through them. So this was what I was referring to before, guys. So these little libraries, I don't know if you guys ever use them, but you basically can just like put everything that you're creating into it. Let's say this was a logo, right? So I could just add it here, or maybe it's not a logo, but it's like a type treatment that we really want to use in some of the texts, and I want to save it for later. So I add graphic in here, and it gets added to my library. So this library I can go ahead and share with Edinah, and then she's gonna, here I go to invite people, and I can send her an invitation to her Adobe email, and then she's gonna pull up her computer. She's gonna go to libraries, and she's gonna have these in her computer. So if you're collaborating with other designers, or if you're simply just wanting to make your client's life easier, it's a great way of working.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that works better. No, no, that I don't like. Guys, and there's only 4 more minutes to our Adobe Live critique. So,
oh, I like the red on red, but I guess because of the placement of the R, it kind of blends in.
Yeah, I agree. I really like how it looks here, like where you can read it with her hair.
Where you can read it, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, maybe if we, but like this. Yeah, no, that's, let's see. Let's use that one for now, that we have more legibility. And then...
That's the word.
And Eddie is asking if the library is embedded to that source file. If I move that file around, no, the libraries are not embedded into your source files. They're actually on your Adobe application. So they work much like fonts. Like if you have them, or like, I don't know if you work with Adobe Color. Well, that works through libraries. But if you have them in your system, they're already there. So even if I were to open another document or something that has nothing to do with this client, I can go to my library. So for instance, if I go here to my libraries, I have some of my other projects here. So they're always with you. So you don't have to worry if you move your things around. That's where they are, in the cloud. Thank you, Cody. So, any preferences, Edinah?
I kind of like the first one. I think the first one is like the favorite, because there's a good contrast between the two. I don't have to struggle to read anything.
Let's see.
I also like the third one too, but there's a greater contrast between the first one.
Yeah, that's true. I think I would like.
I don't know what you'd have. Maybe change. I don't know if change on the last one. Change it to black, maybe.
Yeah.
Like the text black.
I think the black is working because it's not so like out there, so it's easier to read.
Yeah.
And Bryn likes that one too. So what I'm gonna do, I'll see. We have 1 minute to our challenge.
1 minute and counting.
1 minute. Let's see. So this is the one that she liked. Let's just put it in the other girl here. Oh, I like that photo. See how it looks.
Ooh, that is nice, like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this one too. Okay, guys. So much for gradient maps today. We're gonna go see your work and be very nice about it. We're not gonna destroy it. I promise. Okay, so let's go to the Discord channel right now. Today's challenge was to create. Perfect. Okay, I think we're on my screen now. So I'm going.
How do I go bigger again?
And
let's yay. Okay.
Challenge was to create a monogram. And you guys are working with a gym concept. So let's see what's in here. And if we're going with the monogram or if we have other things to check. So this one was actually from yesterday's challenge. It was editing colors. So the same that we reviewed yesterday, Edinah. Watch's weight room.
Watch's weight room.
Weight room. Looks aggressive. Looks like you're going to build some muscle in there.
Muscles, yeah.
For sure. Okay, so in terms of colors, I like the first one. This is definitely my favorite. And in here, there are some of them that I think might need a little more contrast with the type, like the watches. They're all watches weight room, but like this one in the bottom corner,
right? Yeah,
a little bit hard to read, and this one as well. But I think that things like these are working better in terms of contrast. But yeah, I think like overall it's a good exploration, and I'm sure you had fun playing with the edit colors, which is like the best tool ever. What do you think, Edinah? Do you want to add anything?
No, pretty much just the same thoughts. There's some really great contrasting, like legibility, accessibility, but just to watch out when you're playing with tonals, because it can get it's really difficult. Some people have like maybe like colorblind, for example. It's like they're not going to be able to see that, and just regularly, especially playing with like textures as well, it's hard. Like sometimes it can wash out a type when it's too textured, like the bottom right, like it's gray on black and white.
I agree.
But it's great though in general.
Yes, thank you so much, Watch, for submitting. And this is for today. Creating a
so this is the monogram.
That's really cool. So GLG, right? Am I right?
I think so, yeah.
Please. But I really like this. It does give me I'm not sure if it's still going with the gym thing, but it does give me like either like a Pilates place or like a bar or something that it's obviously like very feminine and like elongating.
Yeah.
So I think
for sure
it really works. And this was Ant. It's a great job. Anything you want to add? Sorry, Edinah.
No, it's cool. Like what an amazing, like what an interesting concept, and like playing with the curvatures. I think it's the cursiveness of the actual ligatures to kind of build a monogram out of that. That's really cool.
Yes, just one tiny detail that I'm seeing here that I would like. I love how you incorporated this white space between each letter so that you could see it better. Maybe I'm thinking that maybe incorporating it in here might also help the legibility of it a tiny bit.
Oh yeah.
But I really like this monogram. And then here's the editing colors. I think they might be using their batch assignments for their past batch assignment for that. So we can also comment on that if you want, Lina.
Oh, okay, I see. Yes, I feel such a great badge as well. Like such a great design. I really like it. Push yourself to the limit, be a beast. It's like everything's hierarchy. It's just everything like makes sense. Like not even makes sense. It's just easy to read and digest. And then the color combinations are fun. I really like the purple and the blue.
Yes,
yeah, they're my favorite.
Definitely the original one is my favorite.
Yeah,
it's working really, really good. And yeah, I mean everything's working, like you said. Like it in badges sometimes it's hard because you have so much into it, and sometimes it's hard to know what really comes first and what's the tagline and what's like. But I think this is really working in terms of like leading you to the next thing. So
yeah.
And then the edited colors, again, they're working. Sometimes with color, I think that it also, like, you guys have to be mindful that color also establishes hierarchy. So in this one, for example, I feel that the S20, it's the thing that pops up first. So, and it's something that it's maybe not as important into the design. So maybe changing, and I know you guys were working with the edit color, so you didn't have like so much control on that because it might have been a little random. But just for design's sake, maybe I would change the plain 0 to be the S20 color, so that will pop up before, because that's like the most important part of it. So
yeah,
tiny details and just things to keep into consideration. Let's see. Ooh. Day 5, just improvisation. And for this assignment, Edinah, they had to create sets of weights using Illustrator. So literally like draw weights.
Ooh.
And I love these. I think these are super cool. Super, super cool. I think the assignment was using the gradient tool, and I feel like this is a very different approach from all of the other ones that I've seen. So it, like, they look very, very different from all of the other ones, and I really, really like how the color use of these. It's great. I like the typography that you chose.
Yeah,
I really like. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think like feeling my head, but no, I think it's exactly the same. Like everything works really well, and it's fun too. You can totally imagine this on like a billboard or something, or a poster advertisement.
Is this Google's gym? Is this meant to be into the Google headquarters? I feel
like the very similar colors.
Yeah, I like it, and I like the background too.
Yeah, the grid.
Great job. And we're gonna go, let's do a last one so we can go, well, let's do 2 more or 3 more. We'll do them quick. So this assignment, was a clipping mask. So he needed to use clipping masks to create a graphic. And this is so cool. I really like it. And I like how she is incorporating, or he, I would say he is she or he?
They, I guess.
They. Exactly, they. So he incorporated the old assignment into the newest. See how like, so I think.
Oh yeah, the colors and the. Oh yeah, and it's used in that one, the bottom right too. Yeah.
So I think, and I don't know if they incorporated also some old things into here, but I think it looks really cool. I think it's a really smart way of using your assets, and it's very groovy. What do you think, Edinah?
It's for sure playful. The only thing I would consider is when you're playing with clipping masks, and the clipping masks are going to be quite detailed, like the way this has like patterns within it. Be mindful of what you keep in the background, because that can be quite like a distraction and not quite be able to read the words. Like where it's like the lines, the white lines behind Lizzie, the front part of Lizzie's.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's so playful, and I like how the words are written into the G of Jim, because it's like written into it.
Yes, yeah, I like it. I really like it, and this was the other challenge that they incorporated in there. And let's look at one more. This is the color one as well. Cool. Ooh, I like all of them.
Protection and fitness group.
I think my favorite is definitely this one, the blue one. But I think that all of the colors are working well in and like legibility and hierarchy as well. What do you?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I agree. I think they work really, really well. I like the blue one too. Blue is my favorite.
Yeah, me too.
Blue. And the top left too. The first one. Top left. The first one. Yeah.
It's nice too. I love those colors as well. Oh, okay. So let's get back to work. Let's finish this for Bryn. Edinah, would you like to show us a little more of that last template?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So let's go to your screen. And hi, Gus, in the chat.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, so while you were showing his gradient maps, I did some search, and I ended up finding, I just really love this photography, this shot. So I thought that would be a pretty cool like event type of example, just to showcase the text in a great way. And so yeah, that's kind of like what I added on.
Oh, I'm trying to get your screen bigger on my.
Oh,
sorry. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it.
And I was thinking, like, how can I incorporate the logo? But I'm not even sure if it would be necessary. Because just playing with the clear space, and I even like played around with like placement, thinking, would it work on the side here? Maybe having it here on the side.
That looks good too. I think I like the one on the bottom.
Right, I think so too.
Ooh, what do you think, Bryn? Let us know. Then we can move on to the social justice.
Yeah, I discussing with Brent, it was kind of about what social justice, the aim of like show what this would be, just highlighting something within like the news of what's happening in the everyday, whether it's, um, this new industry thing like industry law or highlighting an important movement of the now. It's just about, I guess, like in a way, like a news post in a way, but in relation to what Bryn does and who she is, as well as the founder of BrynCon, an artist, just about showcasing important matters, as well as like I feel like it would be a way for her to inject some personality too, because it's things that matter to her,
Cool.
So
I love how these are looking all together too.
yeah, I mean, I was trying to work with trying to see how to just like play with the colors and inject.
And the good thing about this social media templates, and this is something I usually do, like I finish off the design and then I just replicate them and do like a couple different color palettes so that they can have more variety too. And it's not always
Yeah.
the same, but that's a really good way of doing it too.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. So is that how you would build out 9 of them?
Not necessarily, but sometimes, let's say, because usually the clients that I've worked with on social media, they're like social media heavy, so they need of different things to tackle, like whether it is like a product promotion or like an event, or so they usually give me categories, like enough categories to tackle all 9 of them. So usually I go with that, and then I create, if necessary, more colors so that they have variety. But
that makes sense.
yeah, Chris has a question about font size. So what is the minimum size you would use for social media on a post? Do you have something that you go to, or do you just do it by eye?
It depends, to be honest, because for example, when I build out brand style guides or brand guidelines or visual aesthetic guides, there's so many names. I always write in there, when I'm building out the brand, the minimum size that this font will look great in relation to the hierarchy. So depending on a brand's typography, like how many, sometimes, so for example, for Bryn, the brand has only been developed with 3. A primary, like sort of like a heading 1, a paragraph, and a heading 3. So typically when it's built out a bit more, sometimes brands will have a heading 2, which means it's less important information, but it's more important than the paragraph. And then also there's like separate fonts and typography choices for, like, say if you have a button, or for accessory, like, adding typography elements or playful elements to a brand. So I'll always just consider this when I'm building out the brand style guide and make sure that there's a minimum of the text size. So at the moment, this text, the heading, is set to 138 pixels. So just 138, which means as this is scaling down, the minimum size that this can be is like 26. So like at 26, the paragraph would look the best with 138, which means it would look the best at pixel 19. So those are things I consider. And so I just always consider the hierarchy of the selected brand typography versus actual, like, okay, this has to be 138. But that's something that's I explain and just keep mentioning and reiterating. But when it comes to building type templates, I actually honestly play by eye. I think because I'm so used to this, I'm honestly quite well versed in it. And as long as I understand, okay, this font, rock grotesque, compressed bold, is the heading one, which means it automatically has to be bigger than everything else. So then it's just about playing with how prominent you want something to be. So if, you know, the event name is always going to be bigger than the location, place, date, and month. And then you can consider, do I want a paragraph on here, and so forth and so forth. So there's lots of like little mini notes, but it's just about defining what each font is. That's what I do anyway. What do you do?
Yeah, that I agree. I never have like a minimum size. I just do it by eye and make sure that it's readable. And sometimes you might not want it to even be very readable, and it's just like a playful element that it's over there. So it really, I just do it by eye, to tell you the truth. No minimum size.
So I think we have about 5 minutes left. So just to, I guess, explain some behind, like what I was thinking is, I was thinking for, this would be either, this could be status. It could, what do I keep clicking at? It could be, I feel like this could work pretty well as a swipe pose, like a swipe left. I feel like that could be really nice. And so I like to create rounded arrows. I don't know why. I just think they look really nice.
I know, I love those. You're so quick at creating arrows, Lina.
Oh yeah, I just realized that was pretty quick. I love doing little assets like this. And then I feel like to match, it could be, well, I mean, then I guess it might not need this. It could be this logo.
I really like that. Oh yeah, I like that one.
But like on the other side.
And Anna is saying she loves everything about this branding.
Oh, yay. Yay. I'm so glad. I mean, it could be something like that, or maybe in the middle. Maybe at the top. Just to basically say, like, you know, swipe to read more. It could maybe go in a box. Is this too bulky?
I liked it without the box, because like that arrow, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. And so I was thinking that, like, okay,
Eddie's saying he missed the last 5 minutes because, see, you don't have to talk to anyone. Okay. No, it's okay. You still have 3 minutes with us. We're here. Yep. So.
We're still here. Yeah.
Still here. I think that the swipe, the carousel posts,
yeah,
the best for designers, because it helps us to help like keep our designs clean when the client needs to put 1,000 things into a post. So I really love doing carousel. And we're coming to
almost to an end.
We're almost coming to an end, but make sure that you guys start following Edinah at WILDLOGIC. You start following me at Onlychild Design, and you start following Bryn at BrynCon and Artist, so that you guys can check how this comes out. We're gonna be working on refining this and just finalizing, giving it to the client, so you guys can check out a couple on
just like
live.
Yeah.
I love that one, Lina.
So I'm gonna end on yay! I hope Bryn likes it too. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Yeah, it's almost like finalizing what we did and just getting to see it all coming together. It's pretty fun too, just as being a part of the creation process.
Yes, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and don't forget to go fill your applications for the grant.
Oh wow, yeah, that's amazing.
News.
Like, that's amazing.
Filling mine out.
Like what? I'm gonna do this afterwards. See you guys later.
Yeah, bye. We're gonna go fill in applications. Thank you, guys.